Okay. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you is the thing I started to talk about yesterday, which is the capacity to introduce these things, particularly for intervention investigation, which can capture differential effects of interventions or can allow you to select different subsets of the population. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to delete this patient. Boom. Yeah, I want to delete it. Boom. Okay. Here we go to main, and let me make sure this model is still intact and fine. Okay, it is. Okay. So I just want to check one or two things in this model. Okay. What I'm going to do is, with your leave, I'm going to do nothing more than we've done before. I'm going to have a recovery rate here, and rather than hard coding it here, rather than saying the rate is 0.1, I'm going to actually put it in a parameter. Is that okay? And at the moment, I'm going to put it here, but later I'll put it actually in main. Okay, I'm going to set the recovery rate by, well, you know what? I'm going to do it now so I don't have to go back and change. Hey, come on. Okay, fine. Copy or cut, and then I'm going to put it here. Boom, recovery rate. This is shared between all people, so I'm going to put it in main. Are you comfortable with that? Okay. So now what would I have this rate depend on? Can you tell me? Okay, and how would I refer to that parameter from person? This dot, main dot, yeah, recovery rate. Yeah, good. Okay, exactly. Okay, now maybe for this contact rate too. Right now we have a rate of 1. I'm going to introduce a parameter called contact rate. It's going to live in main. Okay, and it's going to have a default value of 1. And I'll copy it to main here. Come on, get out of here. And come on over to main. There we go. Contact rate. And we're going to then refer to that. I'll give this recovery rate a value of 0.1 in case I forgot to put it in. Okay. Okay, we're just about done with my little modifications. I just want to parameterize these so we can what am I doing? Oh, sorry, to show you this particular thing. I actually do want to modify them on an individual basis. So sorry, they should live in person. Do you get that? If we want to modify them on a per person basis for like subsets of like an intervention group, hey, come on. Oh man. Come on, get over there. Here's recovery rate, here's contact. Oh gosh. Mess. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, so for this guy, come on, get there. Okay. Here I just want to say this dot recovery rate, fine. And for contact rate, come on, there we go. This dot contact rate, right? Okay. Dot contact rate. Okay, great. So here we have our model. And in our model, we're going to have a baseline simulation. Okay, here we go, baseline. Boom. And in our baseline simulation, we have 20% immune, and we can watch on this chart up here the prevalent case count, right? There we go. And we could see a con there, okay? Okay, now watch this. Now suppose I want a separate intervention. I want an experiment that will set, this will be called social distancing intervention. Okay? Does that make sense? Social distancing intervention. Social distancing intervention wants to basically affect the population by lowering, by lowering people's contact rates. We okay with that idea? Okay. Now, if those contact rates had been an experiment, I could simply have lowered them, right? But I'm going to show you another way to do this, and then we're going to show how it can be done to lower it specifically for certain subsets of the population. Okay? Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to encode here in main, let's close this HPV model. I don't need that. Boom. No. Okay, go to main. We're going to put in place a parameter that's going to be representing whether someone's in an intervention group or not. Okay, and so here it's going to be called is in intervention group. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, this parameters can be different than other parameters that we've created. How? You're going to go to advanced, and you're going to create a dynamic parameter. Okay? Make sure that's recorded. You're going to create a dynamic parameter, is an intervention group. I went down to advanced. In this parameter, I went down to advanced, and I set it to dynamic. See that? Now, we're going to call this a Boolean. The difference is it's going to be true or false. The difference is it's going to be determined separately for each person. Okay? And we're going to be able to set it, therefore, in different experiments to be different things. Okay? Now, there's one thing I need. Do you remember yesterday? Were people here, all of you here for yesterday's discussion of functions? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is a function. It's kind of like we're passing a function to main. It's like we're passing this function that takes an argument. It takes a value to do its job. And what value is it going to do? It's going to take a value called person. And it's of type person. You're going to tell it who you're talking about, and what is it going to return? It's going to tell you, are they or are they not eligible for the intervention? In different experiments, different intervention scenarios, we're going to be able to give different criteria for whether the person is eligible or not. Some might say, it's always true. They're always eligible. Some might say, they're only eligible if their income is less than $30,000. Others might say they're only eligible if they have lots of contacts. Others might say they're only eligible if they've been infected more than 3 previous times, based on some aspect of their history. Okay, so we have this parameter is an intervention group. Now, we're going to add a different parameter. And this is going to be called perform intervention action. It's going to intervene upon this person. So maybe I'll call it perform intervention action on person. Maybe I'll call this is an intervention group. Maybe I'll call it is person in intervention group. What do you think? Is person an intervention group? Perform intervention actions on person. This is going to be an action parameter. And its job in life, it doesn't encode a value. Its job in life is to do something. And guess what it's going to take as an argument? What does it need to do its job? Well, okay, if they're in the intervention, it's going to be applied. It's going to be given a person. Oh, here's Alex, and it's going to perform an intervention on them. Okay, it's going to perform this intervention.
People are just wondering about the overview. Like, we're getting are you having another like an end for boot camp?
Yeah, I was planning to do that in another few minutes here. Probably come over between 5 and 10 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a person here. Okay. And having done this, ladies and gentlemen, we can do this. We could have a social distancing intervention. In this social distancing intervention, we've just specified parameters in main, okay? These are parameters in main, are they not? Okay? And here, from the experiment, now we can specify these parameters. Do you see that? Okay. So what we can say here is we're going to perform this on everyone in the population, and whatever person is, it's true. And the perform intervention on person, what's that going to do for social distancing? It's going to lower their contact rate, right? So we could say person.contact rate divided by equals 2.0. What does that do? That lowers their contact rate by a factor of 2.
Move it up a little bit. Right behind your head.
Sorry. There? Okay. Yeah? So what this is going to do is for everyone in the population, it's going to lower their contact rate by a factor of 2. Yes.
Contact rate here doesn't have to be in person, doesn't have to be a parameter. It could be a variable, right?
It could be a variable. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to define another intervention. This one is going to be more selective. It's going to be based on another experiment, and this is going to be called perform social distancing on highly connected individuals. Now, I could do it based on age, I could do it based on sex, I could do it based on history, but I'm going to do it here based on highly connected individuals. My criteria here is going to be if person dot get connections number is greater than 10, then, well, actually, I just could do this. I could just do this. This will return true or false. And what's the intervention action going to be? It's the same thing as before. Person dot contact rate divided by equal to 2.0.
So this allows you to reach any variable and any parameter throughout the whole.
Well, no. Where did this person come from? Why am I using person? Why is that magically defined? It's because it's what I defined for the dynamic parameter. I have to tell it, and we're going to see where we tell it this. But see, it knows about the person. So yes, this allows you to go and reach in and go change these things on a per experiment basis. So let's do another intervention. This is going to be short or find screen for infectives for highly connected infectives on highly connected. So the idea is here we're going to lower people's we're going to lower the time they stay infected. We're going to increase their recovery rate. We're going to keep them infected for less long. We're going to increase their chance per day of getting recovered by treating them. Okay? So here we're screening for this, and here we're going to be intervening also on persons whose person dot get connections number is greater than 10, and what are we going to be doing to them? We'll be setting their recovery rate to be twice its normal value or whatever. Okay, now, the final key component, so all this is a happy camper for it, but the final key component, and then I've got to go turn into a pumpkin by running to the other group, is we have to actually march through the population, perform our intervention. So let us go to main, and let us drag an event in. It'll say perform intervention. And maybe we want the intervention to go off at time 0. Maybe we want it to go off later, right? This is going to be occurs once. Maybe we want it to go off periodically. This is what we do. Ladies and gentlemen, how do I go through each person in a population? For person P, I'll call it, in population. I could have called it person. I just want some variety. So, and you see it has nothing inherently to do with the other person I just defined. So what am I going to check? If they're in the intervention group, is person in intervention group, and I'll give them the name. If they're in the intervention group, then what am I going to do? Perform intervention action on them. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how we can perform interventions in this very flexible way. We can define these different intervention scenarios that perform our interventions on subsets of the population we define here, and this is the nature of the intervention. And we can slice it, dice it in different experiments and have our interventions expressed here. And each of these interventions gets applied at the point that this event goes off. And each of these interventions gets applied across the population. We see, is the person eligible? If so, perform that intervention. You might think for some of these interventions we have to go modify the model. We have to go look for pregnant women, and, modify the model to go look for pregnant women in it and save a copy of the model that does that, or go have a copy of the model that looks for highly connected individuals. No, if we want to do that, we just define a different experiment that says, is person P, is pregnant? If so, she's eligible. Otherwise, not.
Can you make sure this is on the...
Yes. And now I've got to turn to a pumpkin. And so we have to go